Lisa's here with me, and she's going to be in the background answering any questions you might have on Facebook. I'm Lisa Cortori, and I'm a teacher at Patchwork Garden. I do mostly hands-on classes in the past, and we have found that having Zoom classes is almost the next best thing to being there, because you can do it in your pajamas, and you can have your coffee by your side, and you have just as much fun. So today I'm going to be doing a demo, and I'm working on this Stasha bag. Okay, it's a quilt-as-you-go bag. It's by Sweet Jane's Quilting and Design Company. It's scrap friendly or fat quarter friendly, and what I used was Carrie Carr fat quarter bundles, all a Twitter series, and it comes with 8 fat quarters. Okay, and so they're all perfectly coordinated, and it makes all your decisions on what fabric to use very easy. So right now, these are on sale, 50% off. So look at your interactive page and you'll find them there. I was able to make about 8 of these pouches from my fat quarter bundle. So it's a fun pattern, and you'll want to make multiples like I did. I thought it might be good for, slumber parties or favors. I'm in full wedding mode right now, so I'm thinking that these would be great for bridesmaids to put their makeup in for the day of the wedding. So we're 3 months and counting, so I think I'm off to a good start with that. So I've done many different quilt-as-you-go patterns in the past, and typically I love working with a quilt-as-you-go pattern because you work with 3 layers. You work with the top, the batting, and the backing all at the same time. And this particular pattern is brilliant because you start out with only 2 layers, and then you sneak in the lining. And so what that does is you don't see any raw edges. So what works with that is how we sneak it in. So I'll be able to show you how that works. But it's a brilliant idea. So I thought that was a little different than your typical quilt-as-you-go patterns. So,
we have some shout outs.
We do.
Folks that have saying hello. I see Ann Lawrence and Deb from Massachusetts, and Jane Licata and Linda Dudek and Karen Kukla. Oh my gosh, we have over 50 ladies joining us today for lunch. So thanks, guys. It's so great to see you.
Thank you so much. I have amazing friends. Thank you so much. Promises to be a good time. So to get started on this Sasha quilt-as-you-go pouch, all the sizes, all the dimensions, the templates are found in the pattern. Once you see this demonstration, I'm also offering a 3-hour Zoom class, and this will be offered on June 8th, 9:30 to 12:30. You'll get even more detailed tips, and you'll be able to finish this project at the end of your Zoom class. So please consider it, and it'll be a lot of fun. So now to get started, I'm going to switch the cameras, and you're going to be able to see my demonstration. To start things off, it's always going to be throughout this pattern, we're going to be using 1/4-inch seams, okay? Walking foot is highly recommended. And when you're choosing your thread, you want to make sure you're matching the colors for your outside of your bag. So I used King Tut, and the colors that worked for me is 905. And you can see it's a beautiful variegated thread. So all the colors that are in here, because there's a lot of different colors on the fabrics that I've chosen, will work nicely, okay? Your bobbin thread can be to match your inside lining, okay? So what we'll need to start out our project is we will need a 14-inch zipper. You'll need lots of strips for the front, and those will be all our different combinations here. You'll have the base bottom fabric. You'll have your lining. You need interfacing. I used a medium weight interfacing. You can also use Shape Flex. And you'll need some batting. I used fusible fleece, and I find that to be very helpful. This is the glue side, and that's the regular side, okay? So when you're working on this project, we're going to be working on the glue side, but you can use any cotton batting you'd like, or any really batting that you choose to use. So what I did is I drew a line on here to get started, okay? So that's going to indicate to us where our lines of strips will go. So now we're going to figure out the combination of how we want to lay out our strips. So once you know the strips combination, you're going to take the first two, okay? So my first two are here, and you can work on either side, okay? I'm like starting on the left. Right now, you're going to take your first one, line it up to your line and to the edge of your fusible fleece, okay? Your second piece goes down facing down, so right sides together on the strip. So I like to use my walking foot, and you're going to stitch those two together through your batting, okay? And you're going to stitch that down 1/4 inch. You're going to open it up and finger press it, and you're not even taking it off your sewing machine table. You're going to come back with your needle, and you're going to quilt the top of here. So the bottom one, the first piece that I did, is where I'm going to put my quilting on. So this is what it'll look like. I opened it up, sewed it down this way, and then finger pressed it, and then came back on my machine and quilted it. So this is where you can see the color of your thread that you have chosen. Now I lengthened the stitch length a little bit. That's optional. You can adjust it however you like it. So now you're just going to continue with your next strip. So it'll be right sides together. You're going to stitch that down, finger press it open, and come back and quilt. So that's the process that you're going to continue to do. And if you want to add more quilting when you do your strip, you can add 2 lines or do whatever you'd like.
So Lisa, when you do that second stitch, then that really lets the bag lay nice and flat. You know,
Yes.
Sometimes when you go quilt-as-you-go, you get those little ridges.
Yes.
This gets rid of that whole problem.
Absolutely, absolutely. It lays nice and flat, and you're not putting an iron to it, because remember, this is our fusible fleece side. So you don't want to touch your iron to that side at any point. And you don't have to until all of this is completed, and then you won't have to worry about it. So you're going to continue all the way down through that. Okay.
Lisa, I have a couple questions from
Sure.
our friends. Oh my gosh, we almost have 70 people joining us for lunch.
Oh,
I don't think
great.
I cooked enough.
You know?
I'm going to run to the kitchen. But first question, I think if you're mute, if you can't hear us, I'll type it, but I think we're okay. I've seen all green bars on sound on our end. Renee is asking, did you stitch in the ditch or does your quilting show? You stitch out like a 1/4 inch from that
I did.
seam, right?
I did. I stitched a 1/4 of an inch, and you could stitch in the ditch if you want. So it's really up to you. But the way she showed on her pattern, she stitched twice. And, you know, basically it's optional, however you want it to look. Stitching in the ditch or showing your stitches is perfectly fine. It's securing all your stitches, holding them nice and straight. But it's only between your strips and your fusible fleece right now. Okay.
Another question, the lining is the secret. You're going to add that at the end, right?
Correct. I'm going to sneak it in, and I'll tell you when I'm going to sneak it in because it's at the perfect timing so that, once again, that you don't have the raw edges. So it's a brilliant design. Okay, so after we do this, you're going to start, you'll have 2 pieces that are completed at this point, okay? So you will finish all your strips on the one side and then do the same thing for the back, okay? So this is what it'll look like. Now we can go ahead and take our bottom strip of fabric, okay, and we're going to lay that down right sides together, and you'll see right across the bottom that there's an overhang, okay? That's done on purpose so that stays into the seams. So we're going to once again put our 1/4 of an inch stitch down, and then that gets finger pressed down, okay? We are going to trim out all 3 sides, and you're going to do the same thing for the front and the back, okay? So you will have it all trimmed up. It'll look just like this, and then you're going to top stitch the bottom section down. At this point, now you can fuse with your iron, you can seal the deal, and they'll stay nice and secure along with your stitches.
And Lisa, all those beautiful fabrics came from that one panel, right?
Absolutely. I did not have to go looking elsewhere. It was very convenient to have that all set up. Now, the 14-inch zipper, you're going to end up clipping about every inch, okay? And you'll go about halfway up, okay, on both sides of the zipper.
You don't clip into the teeth, though.
No, you don't clip into the teeth. You're just going to go about halfway on each side, okay? And then you're going to take your lining and you're going to fuse your interfacing. Now, this particular sample step out, I use Shape Flex, and Shape Flex works great as well. So the first ones that you saw, I had medium weight interfacing, and I also can use Shape Flex. So that works out great. So the next stage gets even better. Okay, we're going to take our 2 pieces, but Helen, I think I'm going to need that back. Okay, so now that we have 2 pieces here, okay, we're going to put our front and back right sides together, okay? Pretend that that bottom piece is there, and we're going to line up that edge, okay? And I like to pin them, and I like to keep it pinned on both sides. So that's what I like to do. It keeps it from moving, and then I don't have to think about making sure that lines up again, okay? So once we have them lined up, we're going to take our lining and we're going to put them right sides together, and we're going to add our front and back, and we're going to cut using the template that the pattern supplies. You're going to cut that edge. So that works out super nice. Okay, now here comes the part where we take our zipper and we're going to open it up. Okay, so keeping these two layers together, we're going to lay down our Wonder Tape. Now, I've done it two different ways. Using Wonder Tape is a great idea. You place it down and you kind of burnish it down really good, okay? And then you peel off the paper side, okay? And to get this out of the way for the time being, I'm just going to clip this so it stays out of my way for the time being, but I want them together. I think it's helpful. So you're going to take your zipper that's opened and it's clipped, okay? And you're going to start at the end, and this zipper edge gets placed right at the end. Now you'll notice that the teeth are down, pointing down, and the zipper is face down. Okay, the tab is underneath. Okay, so I'm going to line this up, okay, and keep it going, and it works with the curve very nicely because you've clipped it, right? Okay, so that's going to stay. Now, this is the point where we're going to sneak in the lining. So this is my lining piece that's all cut, and you're going to do one side at a time. You're going to lay this directly on top, line it up to the curve. I thought would be really good to do this zipper is to use Unique Stitch. I use this for a lot of different things, and so instead of putting the tape down, you could go ahead and put a small smearing of glue, maybe only 1/8 of an inch down from the corner edge, okay? And then place your zipper along that curve, and that will hold your zipper in place, okay?
Cool.
And then you can also go ahead and do the same thing. It's the same process. Laying your lining down at this point, okay, using your zipper foot and stitching along that side only. Okay, once you have that in place, this gets flipped. I'm going to, since I haven't sewn it yet, I'm just going to clip it so I can kind of show you the next step.
While you're clipping, Lisa, I just wanted to let folks know that for the first time we now have the 14-inch zippers online as well as the by Annie 30-inch. So they can get the zippers for this online. And the colors, all the colors are there.
That's really perfect because using multiple colors, it's nice to have multiple options of zippers as well. So once you have your lining stitched in there, okay, you can flip it out and out will pop the teeth of the zipper, okay? So now once that's in, you can go to the other side, okay? It's in position already. So you take your zipper, which is already hanging here, okay?
Okay,
and
Lisa, can you hold for just a second?
Sure.
We've had a technical difficulty with Facebook, guys, so we're gonna jump back on.
Picking up where we left off, we put the second side of the bag and I glued with Unique Stitch and put the zipper in the same way I did the other side, okay? So now is when we're going to take our lining and sneak it in, and we're going to line it up to that same edge and use our zipper foot to to stitch all the way across that curved edge, okay? So now once you have that stitched, you can flip right sides out, and what that'll do is it'll pop out our teeth, okay? You're going to finger press, and it'll look like this. So you're going to finger press that all shut, and then you can top stitch along the front, okay? And this is where your bobbin thread needs to match your lining, okay? So this is still held together front and back, but we're looking at our lining at this point. And now what we can do from here is this gets flipped up, and on the back side, that gets flipped up as well. So we have the two linings, right sides together, okay? And our two base prints, front and back, pinned together. You're going to take and stitch an opening. We're going to leave an opening along the top of the lining, okay, and sew around the perimeter. Once that is done, all we're going to need to do is make our corners, to box out our corners. So this will be done on all 4 corners. Once you have that done, you can take your opening that was on your lining and flip this through. The important thing to remember, which I forgot to mention, before you get to this point, we can zipper the zipper halfway, okay?
Oh, so you don't end up with a zipper where you can't
That's
get to it.
right,
That's
exactly.
like a long thing she would do.
Yes, so I just forgot to mention that, but that's a very important thing to remember, okay? So then you can just go ahead and flip your pouch, okay? And you'll end up with something that looks just like this. You've got your top zipper in, okay, and your strips there, and then your bottom section, and it's all perfectly lined, okay? You have no raw edge showing at all. So that's the beauty of this design of Quilt-as-you-go. All right, the only thing you need to do to finish up is to stitch up your opening. Now you can stitch that up, glue it, whatever you need to do, tuck it back in and close it back up, and you have a perfectly made pouch, Quilt-as-you-go pouch, and you're done.
That is fantastic, Lisa. And you've got class, right?
That's
I
right.
can join you for the class.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this works out really nice if you just need to have a refresher, or you just want to make sure that that you get all the different pointers. And so what did you think, everybody? Did you think you'll make multiples of this? I have a lot to make yet, so just check out your interactive page. Remember, anytime you buy any of the featured items that we use today, there will be 10% off through midnight of May 14th, and there's a lunch code, a coupon code that's lunch. If you want to continue the fun, you can also sign up for our Zoom class June 8th, and you'll be able to finish this pouch right in the Zoom class. Next Friday, next Lunch and Learn will be Friday, May 28th, 12:30, and
We have a surprise guest. We don't know yet. We're waiting to see on which way we go. And we have a huge guest who's not a surprise. But next Tuesday night at 6 p.m., Kimberbell, the Kim in Kimberbell, is actually going to be doing our Tuesday's Treasures live. via a Zoom connection that we're going to do, so you guys can actually ask Kim questions. She's going to have sneak peeks, store prizes. Oh my gosh, we're going to have so much fun. So stay tuned then, and also Saturday Smile, right?
Right, absolutely.
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you so much for being our teacher today. I've learned so much. I want to thank you for your patience as we got into Facebook jail. So thanks for hanging in there with us, and we'll post the completed video up to Facebook because I know everybody, all your followers definitely want to see it. So thanks so much for a great presentation. Hands up.
Thank
Way
you.
to go.
Thank you, everyone, and happy sewing. And bye for now.